By the way, guys, this is how the process actually happens, right? You put something on paper, then you iterate and improve, and we're actually doing this live for you all.
Yeah. Okay, so for every new document, it will repeat the process that we already demonstrated. Just to make sure, I will remove everything from this database. Namespaces, I will remove the entire namespace. It would be because it already created some records. Okay, and now the database is empty. I can also remove documents from Google Drive. Save this workflow. And yeah, just in case. And let's try again.
Right, so let's upload those documents again. Let's see.
It should detect that there are new documents. Let's see if we will succeed this time.
Cool how it detected it so fast.
It detected only 2 items. So probably it will detect more items in 1 minute. Wait, maybe detected more. Yeah, I think we need to wait because it's detected only 1 file. Yeah, now it is adding more.
There we go. It's working every minute.
Yeah, maybe it does it in batches. Anyway, it succeeded again. Let's see what is inside this index. Yeah, we have 70. For some reason I cannot see it.
Just needed a refresh.
Okay, yeah, we have 10 documents chunks, and it detected the first document it detected is objectives and key results PDF. And let's see if there is any other objectives and key results. Not really, but it is, yeah, top. Let's try again.
Looks like that's ultimate list of product metrics. So it did find the other documents.
Well, yeah. Okay, I think we have 2 documents. Is that enough?
Sure.
I do not want to debug it right now.
No problem.
For some reason, yeah, we have, okay, so we can see that there are 2 documents. There are already 2 documents inside. One is the ultimate list of product metrics. Another one is objectives and key results, PDF. And over time, it will index more files. And I demonstrated it also in my newsletter in the past with detailed recording of indexing all the documents. So the next step is to create an endpoint for our chat that will connect to this rack. So let's try to do this because we now want to use those documents inside our chatbot. And in order to do that, we will create something called a webhook. This is like an inbox for your web service where different apps can ask a question and get a response. Okay, let's say other apps will call this webhook. So our chatbot will call this webhook and they will provide the question like here. Okay, so the question, the user query will be part of the URL. And we can see that we received that query. User message is here. So let's now retrieve documents from our vector store. So the next step is getting ranked documents. As we already explained, in vector store we store document chunks, not the entire documents. So we'll get different chunks from our demo. Let's say we will get 10 most similar chunks. Of course, we compare vectors, not text. And here we could ask OpenAI or another LLM to generate a specific prompt to generate a query to our vector store, like different phrases by which we will search documents. But in this case, to simplify, I will just rewrite the user query from the user message from the URL. So we will use the same query parameter. And just for the demonstration, there is no authentication. I will disable this webhook after the demonstration. Okay. In order to retrieve document chunks, they are represented as vectors. So we also need to represent our query as vector. And the vectors will be compared across those different dimensions. So user query from the URL becomes a vector. And then we ask Pinecone to retrieve similar vectors. The next step is to combine those responses so that we can use it to something with them. It will be easier if we just merge them. Actually, aggregate will be better. What we want to aggregate is this page content, which is document chunk. What we also want to include is the file name. So if the chatbot provides an answer based on some document, I would like our chatbot to quote this document. So to do that, we can refer to this metadata that we previously exported to Pinecone. Let's test. Okay, we have page content and different names combined, and that's okay. And the next step is to call OpenAI. So now we want to call an LLM that will look at the user request, analyze different chunks from the database, and provide an answer. So let's say this will be an OpenAI. We want to message a model. I can also access fine-tuned models. So for example, we could ask this Jedi, but we will not see anything smart. It is not trained to perform those operations. Okay, so I will just ask ChatGPT. I have previously prepared a prompt that we can now reuse. So the prompt is as follows. So answer the user request only based on RAG data below, provide the answer, and at the end of your response, quote the sources. The property is not file name, but actually it is name. So let's rename it. And yeah, user request was, we can take it from the webhook, from the URL. And additional context for our chatbot will be what we have from Pinecone. Okay, we have our document chunks, document names, and let's keep it simple. Let's try to test it. So the query will be OKR, and the assistant replies, what is OKR? And let's see if it will quote the source. Yeah, in the sources we have a specific document name. So the last step will be changing the webhook, so it doesn't reply immediately, but actually waits for this logic to be executed. Because we want to process, we want to get chunks from vector store and use OpenAI. And at the end, we want to respond to a webhook with text, and the text will be this content provided by OpenAI, right? And let's activate our workflow. We can also test it, but I will take the production URL this time. Okay, and let's say that our message is North Star, what it is.
The workflow was started.
Yeah, it provided some answer.
Oh, nice. And this is based on your article about it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The North Star metric is a critical measure that aligns a business or product's focus.
For some reason, it provided several quotes because North Star metric, but those are real documents names. So measuring and maximizing customer value. This is also part of my folder, and there is a PDF. Yeah. So as we see, it started processing more. There are already more documents processed that we initially seen. Okay, now the last step, because this was only debugging, would be going to Lovable and asking it to create a chatbot.
Okay.
So please create a simple chatbot that will call a webhook like this. Message, this is a user input. I hope Lovable will understand it. This is okay. Call a webhook like this to get a response. To complicate it, interpret responses as markdown. This is a special type of formatting, and inside the workflow, this was part of the prompt that an agent should reply with using markdown formatting. So let's see if Lovable will do this.
Such a good tool. So powerful. So to summarize so far, we used n8n for our workflows, Pinecone for our database, and Lovable for our front end. Is that right?
Yeah. Previously, we have used fine-tuning, but not in this case. Here we have Pinecone as a vector store for storing those embeddings. We also used OpenAI text embeddings model, which was one of the choices because Pinecone offers many others. What is important is using the same embedding model when we ask a question, because we need to compare vectors so that document chunks are represented as vectors, and also the query we are asking to Pinecone later needs to be encoded in the same way. Nothing unexpected. It should resolve this problem in a moment.
Typical. Did it all on its own. You didn't even have to prompt it.
I'm sorry?
You didn't even have to click anything, right? It just fixed the error on its own.
Sometimes it happens. Just fix the error. I have not even...
So we're clicking to fix this too?
I just keep clicking fix. I hope it will figure it out. It's the best sonnet on the market. The best coding model on the market. I tested it before, and
these things are stochastic. Right?
If it doesn't solve the problem, I will just remove this. Okay. Like remove the requirement.
Here we go. We have a chatbot.
What is the North Star metric?
Let's see if it does it.
I don't know if it will work.
It worked.